arrives in a hurry, and cement is its driving force. The countryside belongs to no one. The countryside belongs to God. And
back in the office, like we never left, with a special guest. Well, no, we have two. Today we have two guests at the same time. We have Vanessa and we have Jose from the Redlands, that he's going to explain to us what actually is happening at the Redlands. Jose, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And Vanessa, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, letting me in here.
Of course, you're welcome. So Jose, I know this has been a very touchy subject for you because when we met on Sunday, they showed us around. You bought your, como I called it, the American dream house, your farmhouse with your family, thinking that it's gonna be your house forever. And you bought it in August. And then, planning already, you're already starting your rescue to animals, you're doing all your stuff, your beautiful stuff. And all of a sudden on December, you get an envelope.
Notification that they're going to build. So in December, we get a notification that they want to build on 268 and 152nd Court, which is literally in front of our property. And there was a lot of things going on with the notifications because not all the neighbors received the notification. So neighbors started speaking to one another, and eventually we were on the same page, and we started, we actually waited and see what was going to happen. And Bluenest had one meeting, and that one meeting was in a church. I think it was at the end of was sometime in March, if I'm not mistaken. And it was in a church, and the initial plan was for that Bluenest wanted to build 280 units in about 27 acres of land on 268th Street. Now, the land they want to build on, it is adjacent to Orchard Jungle Preserve and Haiti Bower Preserve. And those land, they actually serve as a buffering for the whole entire area. And so does the cemetery on 152nd Avenue. And Bluenest wants to develop 280 units. That was the initial plan, but upon the original Zoom meeting that took place in March, they broke the news that they were acquiring 4.6 acres, and then I think a total of about 5 acres or so, if I'm not mistaken, and totaling to about over 30 acres. And instead of 280, they wanted to build 500 units, literally rubbing shoulder with Orchard Jungle Preserve. Now, on 268, you have hardwood pine rock hammock that is pristine habitat of Florida. That's what all Florida used to look like before any development, before any pavement. And that land is connected to Orchard Jungle and Haiti Bower Preserve by land. Animals from Haiti Bower and Orchard Jungle live in that hardwood pine rock hammock on 268th Street. It is all connected, and that is being taken for granted, unfortunately. But anyways, we were broken the news that instead of 280, they were going to push for 500 units. And at the community council hearing, this proposed plan got declined because the community council understood that it didn't make sense. It is a very bizarre proposed plan in a locked area that only has one way in, one way out through the south side of the site plan. And it's got no connection whatsoever to the north side. I mean, you cannot link the proposed plan to 264. And it's, neighbors weren't happy. The community is not happy because at the end of the day, unfortunately, it will have a negative impact in the neighborhood. Established wildlife. I'm telling you, we walk through those roads at night, and you're going to see screeching owls, barn owls, you're going to see bats, you're going to see just all sort of animal and wildlife. You're going to see cottontail rabbits, which you guys probably seen online. Mm-hmm. It is filled with wildlife, and you don't get that in a lot of places here in South Dade. I come from Kendall. I grew up in Kendall. I went to Southwest Senior High School, and never in my life, if I saw a rabbit here and there, maybe one in 6, 7, 8 years in a specific area, or maybe a fox in the route. But I mean, we also have foxes here, and I mean, it's something that you don't see often. So it is one of the virgin green spaces of South Dade, and you know, the influence that they have with the wildlife is because it is rubbing shoulders with Orca and Jungle Preserve and Haiti Barrow Preserve, which is home to a variety of animals and rare plants as well. And very rare plants as well that you're not going to find anywhere else in the state. This site plan has a bunch of solution holes, which takes thousands of years. And the developer, they could very easily just fill it in, and there goes the solution hole. But by filling in the solution hole, they're going to kill a whole entire ecosystem, a whole entire habitat. In the solution holes, you're going to find animals, reptiles. This specific area where the developer wants to build, it is home to a huge colony of let's call it a colony, but a huge group of coral snakes and indigo snakes. Indigo snakes are extremely protected here in Florida. And why are they protected? Because of habitat loss due to development. And it is home to a huge variety of reptiles, birds, mammals, and state protected and federally protected firms. So that's what we're dealing with.
So when you got your notification, your letter on December, did you reach out to one of your commissioners to see if they're supporting this, or what's the next step?
I have not been able to speak to any commissioners.
You never have spoken to any commissioner?
I have not been able to speak to any commissioners. We did try to reach out to them. We have sent the neighbors, myself, the community has sent emails objecting to this development. And yes, I did call our commissioner. Our commissioner is Danielle Cohen Higgins, but she, her office expressed that since this is concurring with a zoning application, the CDMP application is concurring with zoning application, that there's a law that prevents commissioner's office from speaking with us, which is the Jennings law. And I completely respect that, and that's why we've been running the campaign that we're running, because we need help. We need help, and we need to ring, sound the alarm of what's happening down here, and people need to know what's happening. And we want people to know. We want to bring awareness to South Dade. South Dade has been taken for granted for too long. In 2013, I think it was, the urban development line, the UDB line, which is what protects the farmland from urbanization, was actually pushed from 137, I think it was 137, 147 Avenue. 137. It was pushed.
It started at 137, now it's like 177.
So it was pushed to 157. It was pushed to 157. So our property, and I'm sorry, but it hurts. It hurts. Our property was protected by the UDB line. Our property was protected by the urban development line. And you go to our neighborhood, and every single family, every single home has an agricultural business.
Right.
I'm running agriculture. Everybody has something going on with agricultural. Maybe you're not selling, maybe you're not doing business, but you're living off the land. Maybe you have a chickens, you have your tomatoes, your potato, your carrots, you have your land that you're growing, and the development will impact that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So there is a one of the problems, one of the many, is that they want to take land, a portion of land that the homeowners own. So can you explain what that is and what their justification is for being able to do it? Because as I talk about this issue with other folks and other residents in other areas, they're like, well, but if they're the homeowner, how can the developer come in and take 6,000 square feet from their property? Like, what allows them to do that?
Neighbors, so 154, our neighborhood is an old country neighborhood. And 154, 152nd Court and 152nd Avenue, these are avenues that are one-lane avenues. And our neighbors were very close to one another in the sense that we get along very well. There's no animosity with the neighbors. You see a car coming, you put to the side, car goes by. We're happy. We're happy.
I witnessed it on Sunday.
Yeah, we're happy the way it is. We're happy the way it is. Our kids could actually ride by and be the Goonies in our neighborhood. You know, I mean, you don't get that nowadays. Everybody's stuck with their screen time in front of them, you know. So our kids are actually to get out there and be kids. So Bluenest, in order to get, one of the things that that they need is to expand 154, 152nd Court, and 152nd Avenue. And in order for them to do that, they need to pave over homeowners' property. And there is a few homeowners, neighbors, that their property line goes all the way to where they need to pave. And homeowners could, you know, Bluenest said 25 feet, 25 linear feet. 25 linear feet could translate to thousands of square feet, guys. Thousands of square feet. So you buy your property, and as a homeowner, can you imagine somebody say, hey, I'll pay you $25,000 to get 25 linear feet, but in reality, you're giving up 600, 1,000, 6,000 square feet of your property. Your property is not going to be worth the same. And at the end of the day, you're going to have problems with, oh my gosh, with the setback of your property, with permitting. They're going to be turning these people's life upside down, just in order to pave their way onto the community, and then the homeowner is going to have to deal with the mess they leave behind. Because Bluenest, I mean,
that's like me going away here and being like, I like this chair, let me cut it in half and take it. Like, who does, how, and so what happens if the project does go through and homeowners decline to sell? Do they eminent domain that part of the land?
Right now, it's not eminent domain. Right now, it's not an eminent domain because there's nothing wrong with your neighborhood. There's no need for the road. There's no need for the road. There's no need for the road. So if they pass the CDMP, there will be a need for the road, and then they could take away the property from the homeowners. If they pass the CDMP, if they pass the proposed plan, they could eminent domain.
Wow. Okay.
So they're putting, this is what's happening, folks. At the end of the day, and it's sad.
The dirty goods.
Because if this actually takes place, it's going to set a precedence in South Dade.
It is.
That
ever since we
developers.
started, I cut you out. Ever since we started posting about him, now we have the Fountain Blue people reaching out to us. Oh, the only green that we have, now they want to do a building here. And Hialeah is reaching out to us now to see how we can help them because they got approval for their fields in schools to become now apartments. So now everybody is waking up and we're all in the same battle. But do you feel that the mayor and the commissioners have failed you? Because you've gone to board meetings. You've gone already on board meetings already?
I haven't been to a commissioner's meeting yet.
But you've gone to the
I've been to the community council hearing, and the community council hearing. I mean, they did listen to the residents. I attended the planning advisory hearing, and I want to be clear about this. The planning advisory hearing, we had a tie, 4 in favor, 4 against, and there was going to be a big chance that this item was going to get declined until Mr. Horacio Wembes pushed to break the tie, and he told Bluenest, "Can you cap it at 280?" Bluenest said, "Okay, we're going to cap it at 280," and Horacio Wembes, the planning advisory member, said, and develop the road on 268 onto US 1 so you could shut off the existing community and they're not affected. In other words, so it's not affected by this development. A few days after May 5th, Bluenest uploaded a covenant and the number was 390. I haven't checked the latest covenant. I don't know where we are, but the numbers go from 280 to 390 to 500. It's all over the place. It is all over the place. It is very bizarre the way they're doing this, you know. but it is all over the place. And 268 to develop the road on 268 onto US 1, I don't see that anywhere in the covenant. And the latest covenant, well, at least the last one that I saw, I haven't seen the one that was uploaded recently, if there has been one, but the one that I saw sometime in May, early June, is very vague in every aspect. I mean, there's a lot of loopholes in that covenant, a lot of loopholes that doesn't protect the hammock, or, I mean, there's just a lot of loopholes, you know, and just, you know, it's very vague in favor of the developer, not the community. Again, the developer had one meeting back in March, and after that meeting, the community has contacted the developer consistently, trying to get information, speak to the developer, you know, try to come to some sort of agreement, and all the developer is doing is getting information from us, trying to get information from us, and they're not sharing anything.
I'm gonna jump in.
But real quick, I'm sorry, because I think I want to answer her real quick. Again, I haven't dealt with the commissioners directly, personally. This is my first time. This is my first time, so I cannot really say yeah or nay about that. But the commissioners did vote in 2013 to push the line that left us unprotected. So, but again, this is the first time that I'm dealing with anything like this. So a lot of this is new to me. It really is. But in 2013, that urban development line was pushed inward against a lot of opposition, and that left a lot of green area unprotected. These are green areas where people live. And it's not green area to be built or developed. So they unprotected a lot of. They left unprotected a lot of resident folks here, a lot of folks that live in the Redland. That's something that needs to be looked at. I think that's something that needs to be looked at.
Yeah. Were you gonna say
So there's a new law called the Live Local Act that was created to basically mitigate the affordability crisis. So developers are required and able to propose plans like these, and they have to meet a certain threshold and requirement of affordable housing units. So how Bluenest is notorious for doing this, and as soon as that act passed, it was supposed to help people, not developers, but developers are taking advantage. In 2024, they put in at least 5 development applications all over Dade County, just in Dade County alone. Okay, and so how they get away with it is the more affordable housing units you provide, the easier it is to get it passed through commission and through the county, right? So they propose and they are offering more units than are required, but they are only required to I think it's like 50 units. I forget how many they are required to.
It's a percentage.
It's a percentage of the amount of units.
Instead of 20%.
A base. They propose more. What happens? Typically, they don't develop everything they propose. They don't offer all those affordable housing units. So if they propose 100, they'll do the bare minimum, 50. Let's say the bare minimum is 50. That 50 they can transfer to another property. Right? But they get a credit. They get affordable housing credit. So it's cheap for them to build, which is probably why they keep getting sued, because they do such a terrible job trying to get all these projects pushed through super quick.
Development that you could see the dump, the garbage. And
so you said this project, this one in particular, started in March, right? They proposed it in March.
I think they proposed it December 2024. That's when I looked at, when you go to the Miami-Dade portal, I think that it goes back to they submitted the applications sometime in late 24, late 2024.
Because I mean, what you're doing, what the residents are going through, what they're doing, their advocacy is working. But you tell me if this is true. The company engages early with local stakeholders and the community to ensure that each project complements the neighborhood's goals. Bluenest works directly with residents to align new housing with areas' identities and long-term vision. This was issued last night.
They haven't done that.
This was a statement that was issued by the CEO last night.
They haven't done that.
That's on their website?
Yeah, and it's on MSN News.
Bluenest had one meeting with the community of Richwood States, which is a community that expands from 272nd through 268, 154 through 152nd Avenue. One meeting. That meeting was sometime in March in a church. and it was not a very pleasant meeting. They came as dictator.
Oh.
This is what we're gonna do. They wanted us to put us sticky notes, and I got videos of that and photographs. We wrote our concerns. They had the site plan. We're gonna build townhome units, 33 something acres. They wanted to split us apart in different groups to write our concerns and discuss them.
Oh my God.
And we said, no, we're going to speak as one group, open panel, and everybody expressed their concern. We still give them the sticky notes. They had sticky notes as to why we didn't agree with this development. That was in March. 3 months later, we still tried to hold open communication with Bluenest. They're being stalling us, ghosting us. They haven't been listening to us. So
Commissioner is not doing her job.
that is not accurate. The neighbors of the community where they want to build, they're being ignored. They're being ignored.
So when we went to your house on Sunday that you showed us around, you showed us a canal that was full of stuff. There was basketball, and we did a live. Did you expected all these people to react in our lives how they did? Because we got so many calls. You got calls. I got DMs saying, "How could this happen?" I'm like, he's been saying this for months. Were you in shock that now is when they're paying attention?
I was surprised by the amount of support that we received, and the purpose of that live and that video was to show that overdevelopment is a problem. Listen, I understand process and development. We welcome development the right way. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
We welcome it the right way.
Of course.
But overdevelopment, trying to build concrete pave over every little piece of green doesn't make sense. You need green. You need green spaces. The earth, the land needs green spaces. And people are overlooking that. I was extremely surprised by the amount of support that we received. And unfortunately, that canal again is an example of what overdevelopment is, because I go to different canals. I drive my golf cart through a variety of canals. I mean, you could walk to them, you know, and many canals out there. Oh my gosh, the Turkey Point Canal is cleaner than that canal, and that's a nuclear plant canal. And you got manatees and everything hanging out there.
Only Miami.
You go to Miami-Dade, Black Point Marina, and you go to what they call the Blue Water Canal, and that canal is extremely clean. Again, full of crocodiles, alligators, manatees. Then you go to the canals where development is taking place. And I want to call it overdevelopment because, again, they're getting rid of a bunch of green area. And just putting humongous buildings, townhome complexes, not even single-family homes. I'm telling you, Miami-Dade, if you do acre homes, half-an-acre homes, you're going to be contributing to green spaces because those people will be able to farmstead. They'll be able to do their own homesteading and grow their own goods, grow their own greens in those areas, you know? But instead, what can you do in the townhome units? What does townhome units have to do with the Redlands, South Miami-Dade? I mean, you barely have any backyard, you know?
A lot of people also comment that why are we tagging the commissioners? That has nothing to do with politicians. And I feel everything connects with politicians. Everything. Unfortunately.
And these are for the Miami-Dade folks out there. The commissioners have the final say. They have the final say. This is in some cases, this is a 3 to 4 step process. You go to the community council hearing. The community council, which are like the local authority or commissioners in the area, they say yay or nay as to the proposed plan that they want to develop.
Correct.
If that passes, they're in favor of it. If it's declined, they don't agree with it. Then you go to the planning advisory hearing, which is in downtown Miami, the same chamber as the commissioner's chamber. It's the commissioner's chamber. And the planning advisory will either vote yay or nay. Again, we were heading towards the denial. We had a 4 in favor, 4 against. The planning advisory was turned, you know, they were undecided. They had a hard time making our decision until Horacio Wembes broke the tie by recommending that they shut us off completely by driving the traffic through 268 and capping at 280. But again, tried to reach out to Bluenest, and the covenants, again, they're very vague. It's not very detailed, and they're leaving a lot of things that we, a community, need to know what we did with, you know. And the last step is the commissioner's hearing, folks. The commissioner hearings will listen to the people, the resident, and listen to the developer, their attorney, and they will conclude what's going to happen. So this has everything to do with politics.
And listening is a
Unfortunately,
very loose word.
it's got everything to do with politics. And at the end of the day, they don't want to go from 1 to 2 units per acre to, that's not what they want to do. They want to jump the gun from 1 to 2 units per acre to 13 units per acre. I mean, it's an abuse of the land, to be honest. It just doesn't make sense. There is no feathering effect whatsoever. It's just a radical jump, which doesn't make sense. I have never seen anything like this take place.
No, me either.
To be
and
honest.
I've been born and raised here, and I've never seen something
Not
that.
even Lennar.
I have, but not in the Redlands. Like, at least people respected the Redlands because culturally, conceptually, you buy property in the Redlands because you appreciate the landscape.
Right.
You are there not to live in a condo or a square box or a townhome. You're there for the land, right? And,
Exactly.
and typically because you wanted to get away from all of that.
Right.
That was why.
And it's somewhere close. So he lives.
Right.
I think his office is in Kendall.
Yeah.
He's in the Redlands. He's not so far away. He's not far away from the beach. He's not far away from any of his family. So it's a place that everybody wants to move because it's
Right.
something close. Like, people want the country life, they have to go to
Exactly.
Gainesville.
And and the reason they don't get back to you, Bluenest, is because they don't owe you anything. You know who owes them? The commission. You want to know why? Because they get donation checks. That's why they're in office. So yes, it has everything to do with politics. They bought their seats, and now they have to respond to the developers. It happens all the time, but now they're encroaching on an area that really is just something that is something we have never seen.
So if they do build, they do approve, what happens in
And
a whole
I just want to remind you guys, I'm so sorry.
No,
I just want to remind you guys something. You were speaking about the Redland and what the Redland has to offer. I want to remind everybody that the Redland Homestead South Dade is known for agriculture. In Miami-Dade, you tell me how many areas in Miami-Dade are providing our county with agriculture. Banana, mangoes, papaya,
By the way,
tomatoes.
the best mangoes.
Yeah. Tomatoes. I mean, the Redland was known for their tomato fields, you know, for the avocado groves,
Correct.
avocado fields. That all comes from the Redland. That comes from South Dade. And what's happening? They are choking the life out of it, unfortunately.
That was gonna be my next question. If they start building there, what is in danger?
Everything. The agricultural way of life is in danger. Agricultural businesses are in danger.
Yeah, because your neighbor sells honey.
My next door neighbor is Mango Man. I mean, they are world renowned. They're known for their mangoes worldwide. People come from different countries and states just to buy the mangoes. I mean, you could buy mangoes that taste like lemon. I mean, they have it all, and that is locally grown
From his
in
backyard.
their home, in their backyard. It's like
He does his own honey. He does.
and he needs the pollinators. He needs the pollinators for his honey and all his other products all his products that he sells.
And also, citizen, what concerns you have of the new development they're doing here in the Redlands?
Well, I was actually born in this neighborhood.
Oh, you were.
And I've lived here my whole life. I'm 60 years old. And we have, the great concern that I have is that this is our way of life for doing agriculture like we do here. This is a very unique site here in Dade County, that it is perfect for growing mangoes because of the soils, the microclimate, and all of that. And so we would love to be able to continue to grow mangoes like we do and have our agricultural way of life. And you can't do that when you are doing zero lot line properties with super high density housing,
Right.
instead of having places with green space. And like, for instance, with our honey, we do bees, we do mangoes, we do passion fruit, we do other things. Our bees, for instance, they're dependent upon those trees in the natural areas that are still here, that are slated to be destroyed by this development, and then our bees have nothing to eat. And bees are one of our biggest concerns to all of our health and well-being as a society and as people that live here. So I'm concerned both on the level of being a homeowner here, being born here, and
a small
for the
business
future,
owner.
and a small business owner, and for the future of all of our lives in Dade County.
So if you can talk to them right now, what message would you give them?
My message would be to keep the zoning that currently is upon the land, which allows us to live our agricultural way of life, and we'll all be wonderfully happy and coexist.
Correct. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
All the animals, there's the bunnies.
Yeah.
So what are they gonna do? They're gonna collect the bunnies, or
Again, there's an established. No, they're gonna kill them. At the end of the day, it sounds horrible, but you tell me, is the developer gonna come and relocate the bunnies?
No.
Well, let me tell you where the bunnies live. You guys have any idea?
And then they're seeing.
On the ground.
Yeah.
The bunnies live on the ground. So once you start bulldozing and you cave in their den, you're gonna be killing the cottontail rabbit,
Correct.
which is native for Florida.
Right.
It's one of the few species that we have here. One of the few.
There's also
mammals.
bats.
There's also bonnet-head bats in a lot of the hollow trees out there.
And I think I saw, if I'm not mistaken, there was an owl there.
There is a bunch of owls.
Wow.
You have barn owls.
I think I saw one.
Yeah. You have barn owls. You have screeching owls. You have bald eagles as well. And we have bald eagles have landed on my yard trying to take my chicken. And we had also a young bald eagle land on another neighbor of ours, and we have video of that. He's just filming, and there's a bald eagle eating a pigeon,
Oh my.
so that's pretty epic. But at the end of the day, yes, that established wildlife is going to go to waste. One of the main properties of this proposed development is on 260 and 152nd. It's a house that is in about 6 acres, I think, maybe 5 or 6 acres. And this house sits where a lot of bats live, because we see the bats. You go there for flashlight, you're gonna see them. That's where a lot of the bunnies live as well. So once you start bulldozing and you start putting in the fill, dumping in the fill in order to level the land, which, by the way, it's gonna take over 5,000 dump trucks to come through our roads to bring this up to elevation, because it is so low it's very low in their elevation. But yeah, that's all. They're gonna kill all that wildlife. I mean, maybe some rabbits here and there might be able to run away, but at the end of nocturnal animals, they don't come out during the day.
Right.
So during the day, they are in their den,
Yes.
in their little cave. And once you pour all that sand, they goes their home.
I don't understand. So it's like the medium listing in the Redland is $1.2 million per home. The amount of taxes that you pay. I mean, you think that you've earned the right to be heard, at least
Right.
to not lose your property or
Right.
part of your property, and what it'll do to the property. I guess I'm really trying to understand how the residents must feel about having somebody come in and take a portion of their property that they worked hard to pay for and will continue to pay for. Like, I don't understand how the county or the developer has been able to justify any of this.
And now the developer released an article yesterday calling the opposition. Listen, I am not a political guy. I am not an activist. I'm not. I mean, I got involved with our neighbors, with our community, because we're trying to, we want what's right. We want people to do what's right, And there's a lot of wrong things going on here all at once. It's like a bag of everything wrong that they throw at us, I mean, and at the end of the day, like I said, we're we just want what's right. You know, I mean, this has been handled in a way that there was just an article, like what I was going to say, I lost my train of thought there for a second, sorry.
It's okay.
But there was an article that was actually released yesterday, and Bluenest released it, and they were talking the article, they're talking about some of the obstacles that we've been bumping into, and they said that the biggest obstacle was the opposition, the vocal minority. That's their biggest obstacle.
The vocal minority, the people who
The
live.
people who live there.
Residents.
So that was that. You know, so they're calling us the vocal minority, but we are the one that live here, and you know they just want to come in and do as they please, and it doesn't work like that. You know, it just doesn't make sense. There's a process that they need to go through it. And at the end of the day, it just needs to be done correctly. It needs to be done right, you know. We are not I am not a politician. I'm not an activist. I'm a resident of the Redlands of South Dade.
A concerned citizen.
A concerned citizen of the Redlands.
Right.
And not only me, it's myself and a whole community behind us. We are concerned citizens of the Redlands. We are a community that we're concerned as to what's happening, how it's being done, how it's being handled. We are legit concerned citizens of the Redland. And we're not a vocal minority. We are taxpayer.
Right.
We are residents. We are the resident majority.
Hey guys, we're resident of the Redland here, and we just read a very interesting article that actually caught our attention. And what does the article say?
Okay, so today's article says that even though there have been significant regulatory and logistical barriers to the increasing supply of workforce housing in South Florida, the single largest barrier is not in my backyard. Opposition, and this is directly from Salim Sharabi, am I correct?
Yeah, the owner,
The CEO for Bluenest.
Bluenest Development.
Saying opposition from residents who don't want to see change in their neighborhoods is the main cause of stalled or killed housing projects that would otherwise serve the nurses, teachers, and public servants our communities depend on. We always see projects delayed, downsized, or blocked because of pressure from a vocal minority who fear density, diversity, or change.
Seems like we are the vocal minority now. Just wanted to let you know that the area that you want to build is currently zoned from 1 to 2 units per acre. You could come tomorrow and start building if you like, but that's not what you want to do, sir. What you want to do is bump it up significantly from 1 to 2 units per acre to 13 units per acre, totaling to about 500 townhome units, putting about over 2,000 residents in a landlocked area with no exiting whatsoever to the north side and only exiting and entry to your community through the south side. Not only that, sir, it's not in my backyard. And I'm sorry, if the verbal minority doesn't speak, you could just come here and do as you please, and it doesn't work like that. Because in what country do homeowners that have bought properties have to give over thousands of square feet of the front of their yard, front of the property, in order to pave their way into your community? At the end of the day, we don't even know the final number of what it is that you want to build back there. And eventually, God forbid, our neighbors have to give up part of their land, part of their property, to pave their way onto your property, into your property. You're going to be turning their lives upside down, because it's going to affect the setback, it's going to affect permitting, it's going to have a negative effect on our neighbors and our community. You're affecting people's life in this community directly. And Mr. Salim, you address the opposition, which are residents that have been here for over 50 years, as the vocal minority. We're not a vocal minority, sir. We're a taxpayer, and we're not a minority. We are the resident majority.
Hi, my name is Pablo, and I'm a concerned citizen of the Redlands. This is my property. This is my house here, 27005 Southwest 152nd Court. And I'm totally against this project that Bluenest is trying to do at the end of the street over here. And as you can see, I'm really affected. I'm losing a side of a piece of my property that I had to give away for a project that is not adding benefit to our community and to my property. So, you know, all the neighbors here are really concerned. As you can see, we have another neighbor at the beginning of the road over there with the same situation. And this is going to be the main entry for a project that is not adding benefit to my property and to our neighborhood, and I'm totally against it.
You know?
So what's the next step to save the Redlands?
I'm sorry?
What's the next step to save the
The next
Redlands?
step to save the Redland, the next hearing is the next commissioner's hearing so far, it is scheduled for July 17. If the commissioner hearing takes place on July 17 at 9 a.m., please come and join us. You know, speak your concern. Why you don't agree with this development. I believe.
Sí, mi nombre es Happy y yo vivo aquí en Los Redlands y no estoy de acuerdo con que se haga una calle aquí porque me quitan mi privacidad y me van a tener que robar un pedazo de mi casa. No es ninguna gracia, ya dejé de ser agricultura.
One more thing, Mercy, I forgot. I think you asked me about the canal. You were asking about the overwhelming support of you know Miami residents of Miami-Dade. I also want to let you know that our Commissioner Danielle Cohen Higgins' office did contact us, and
After we post the video, or
after we posted immediately the next day, her office reached out to us, to me, and they did say that they were in communication with the South Florida Water Management District, and that they were in the process of cleaning that canal, and that they were going to look into it. And you know, get it cleaned up and see where all the debris is coming from, and investigate the development that's adjacent to that canal, right next to the canal. I mean, there's been trash everywhere from that development, so that's something that we're going to look at. Again, what's happening with the canal? I wanted to show that to people of South Dade, Miami-Dade overall, as an example of the negative impact and effect of overdevelopment. That's what overdevelopment is going to do. You know? But yeah, our commissioner's office is looking to get that all cleaned up, and I'll let you know when it's done.
okay, keep us updated.
Absolutely.
People that they're coming and that they're gonna take over Nosberry Farm. Pa' que tú veas que everybody lines up.
Yeah.
You're like you're sitting
So
up.
so the pretty much the next step is to attend the commissioner's hearing on July 17 at 9 a.m. This hearing is going to take place in the commissioner's chamber in the government building in downtown Miami. Please come out, speak your concern, let your voice be heard. Let us stop a precedent. I mean, if this takes place, it could happen to anybody. There's a lot of risk here. From private property to the loss of established wildlife, from the loss of green areas that serve as a buffering, as a hurricane protection as well. So there's so much ecologically and that could be lost, and not only ecologically, but again, it's a direct negative impact to our neighbors, to the community itself. Putting 2,000 people in a landlocked area, 2,000 new residents in a landlocked area, in an area such as this one, it's not helping anybody, not even those residents. It's going to be causing more headaches than anything. It's going to be causing more problems than anything. Again, the commissioner's hearing is going to be July 17.
We'll be there.
This hearing was supposed to take place on June 18, so it got pushed to July 17. I'm not sure what the reasons were for, but it might get pushed again. I don't know, because the memo that I got is tentatively. So right now it seems like it's July 17, but my email said tentatively. So so far it's July 17, but if anything changes, we'll let you folks know.
So thank you so much for coming, Jose. I know you've been very busy, very active in social media. We're here for you, and stop the construction for the Redlands. Anything else, Vanessa?
Save the Redland, folks.
Show up.
Ponerle a todos un llamado que hacen mis vecinos de aquí de los Redlands. Esta zona no incorporada en el condado Miami-Dade está recibiendo una sobrepoblación a través de proyectos de desarrollo de viviendas en áreas de agricultura, en áreas de cosecha, en tierras que no están zonificadas para el desarrollo, lo que afectaría, número uno, la salud, la producción, el turismo de zonas rurales, el esparcimiento, el salir de la ciudad a respirar un aire diferente. La alcaldesa Daniela Cava, esa gran mujer que todos votamos por ella con 60 y pico mil boletas ausentes por correo y otros tantos votos en persona en las maquinitas que se rompieron y luego las cambiaron, ¿verdad? Esta gran alcaldesa está pagando sus deudas de campaña, sus compromisos con sus grandes donantes, los desarrolladores en Miami-Dade, desarrolladores que incluso han hecho edificios icónicos que hoy han mandado desalojar a su gente. Y esas compañías no ven consecuencias por el mal trabajo que hagan, por lo que salga bien o lo que salga mal. No importa, murió gente, no importa, se cayó el edificio, no importa, no sirvió. Lo que hicimos no importa, nos van a dar otro nuevo contrato porque donamos, porque impulsamos a los políticos locales. Mire esta denuncia que hace un residente de los Redlands, un vecino acá, a la cual me sumo y te pido, por favor, que ayudemos a salvar a los Redlands en Miami-Dade. Mire para acá.
Redland y South Dade son conocidos como área agricultura. Somos el respaldo agricultural del condado de Miami-Dade. En Miami-Dade no hay ninguna otra área agricultural que South Dade. Y aquí los developers ahora están empujando duro para poder tomar áreas agriculturales y crear cosas así que no tienen nada que ver con la vida ranchera aquí de South Dade. Al fin del día, eventualmente, no va a quedar vida agricultural aquí en lo que es Homestead y South Dade. ¿Por qué? Porque los comisionados están votando al favor de los developers. Les quiero presentar, caballero, un área que no ha sido tocada por los developers, pero está en peligro. Y esto es un canal limpio que no ha sido tocado por los developers, pero te voy a decir algo. Bluenest Development quiere construir 500 unidades para allá, al oeste de este canal, al lado de este canal. Lo que usted está viendo en ese lado, lo va a ver en este lado también. En estos momentos este canal está limpio porque aquí no hay desarrollo de comunidad nueva hacia ese lado, pero pronto Bluenest quiere imponer una comunidad nueva de 500 unidades de townhomes en lo que es el Redland junto a Hetty Bauer Preserve.
They're asking if we could put together volunteers to clean up this mess. Could we do that, or this is private property?
No, this is Miami-Dade.
So we can come as a
Pero
volunteer?
you know what? I'd rather we reach out to the commissioners. They need to get involved. Commissioners need to know what's going on here. Porque al fin del día los voluntarios vienen, limpian y lo vuelven a ensuciar. Los commissioners are not holding developers accountable. Los commissioners no están haciendo los desarrolladores de comunidades nuevas responsables por lo que está sucediendo aquí. So, los comisionados tienen que tomar cargo de su ciudad y arreglar y prevenir de que estas cosas no sucedan.
Yeah, they're saying you're right.
Una de las pólizas de Miami-Dade es que si un contratista va a desarrollar una comunidad nueva, tiene que ir junto con el tema de esa comunidad. Si la comunidad es agricultural, tiene que ser casas singulares, que también sean agriculturales. No puede ser agricultural al lado de townhouses. Están honestamente eliminando la vida agricultural del condado de South Dade, de Miami-Dade. Quiero recordar algo, que en el South Dade, lo que es Homestead y los Redlands, aquí se produce mucho mango, papaya.
Mira, los mangos que comimos hoy.
Se producen bananas, se produce una cantidad de vegetales agriculturales que es increíble. No solamente fruta, pero vegetales también. Y también se produce carne.
Ahí está la denuncia. Por favor, toda la gente que vive en Miami-Dade, es importante que se comunique con su comisionado y que nos ayuden a salvar los Redlands. Evidentemente, señores, estamos pagando el precio de votar mal, de no ocuparnos de la política local, de creer que la elección local es una porquería que no define nada. No, yo voto para presidente nada más. Y estos son los corruptos, como Pepe Díaz y como todos los descarados que mueve la alcaldesa a su antojo, que terminan vendiéndole tu comunidad al mejor postor. Ahí vemos el éxito tan grande de las elecciones de agosto pasado. Ahí lo vemos. El pueblo preocupado, los pobladores, los residentes preocupados y angustiados por sus ciudades, por sus condados, por sus zonas, y los políticos sin responder a lo que tienen que responder, que es al votante. ¿Viste? ¿Viste que hay que salir a votar? ¿Viste que es importante involucrarse en la política local? Mira el aeropuerto, que no me
recibir a un amigo de aquí de Redland que está llevando adelante una campaña súper importante por preservar el pulmón verde del sur de la Florida, y quería que ellos, bueno, pues te lo explicaran brevemente y en lo que podamos sumarnos también a estas iniciativas. Adelante. A ver, ¿no se ve la cámara? Hello.
Hola, Eliezer, ¿cómo estás?
Oye, no te veo. Ah, ya.
Hola, ¿me oyes?
Ahora sí te veo y te oigo. Bienvenido.
Bárbaro, muchas gracias por tenernos aquí en cuenta y en mente. Bueno, aquí seguimos batallando a los desarrollantes. Tristemente, como tú sabes, lo que es South Dade, que es el sur de Miami-Dade, lo que es Redland, Homestead, Florida City, está siendo invadido por los desarrollantes con la excusa de affordable housing. Esa es más bien la excusa que ellos usan para crear su monto de townhomes, la cantidad de unidades que quieren hacer ellos. Yo personalmente y mis vecinos, nuestros vecinos aquí en esta zona de los Redlands, que honestamente, si esto ocurre en nuestra comunidad, va a establecer un precedente que va a afectar a las otras zonas de los Redlands. Yo personalmente estoy en la 268 y la 154 y la 152 al este de la preserva de Haiti Bower, que es un parque protegido por el condado de Miami-Dade, y Haiti Bower está al lado de Orchard Jungle, que era uno de lo que le dicen landmark iniciales aquí, una de las atracciones originales del condado de Miami-Dade, el Orchard Jungle, era un parque de orquídeas, que si no me equivoco, hace ya más de 30 años que cerraron. De todos modos, esos dos parques son preservas y están uno al lado del otro. Y lo que está sucediendo es que Bluenest, developer, quiere establecer, dicen 280, pero está empujando para 500 unidades de townhouse en una área que está completamente bloqueada por un canal al norte y solamente tiene salida hacia el sur. Pero lo que está al sur es el vecindario de 50 casas, a 50 casas agrícolas. Estas casas que tienen algún tipo de negocio de agrícola, gallina, palmas, tomate, tiene algo. Son casas de 1 acre, algunas son un poco más de 1 acre, pero todas están llamando un tipo de negocio agrícola. Y desafortunadamente uno de los problemas más grandes que estamos teniendo es que si eso llega a ocurrir, va a inundar este vecindario y eso trae otros problemas. Y tú cuestionas cómo Miami-Dade está revisando esto. La policía lo aprobó inmediatamente y nosotros no tenemos tantas policías aquí abajo en lo que es el sur de Miami-Dade. Los bomberos, solamente tenemos una estación de bomberos para el sur de Miami-Dade, una sola estación. Entonces tú tienes esta comunidad que va a añadir unos 2,000 residentes y después tienes otras comunidades en el área por otros desarrollantes como Lennar, que tiene 1,000 por aquí, 2,000 por allá, 3,000 por aquí y una sola estación de bomberos. Imagínate si 7, 8, 10 casas se cogen candela. ¿Qué van a hacer? ¿Me entiendes? Esto es lo que está pasando en el sur, en el sur del condado. Es una olla de presión, es una olla de presión que se está presionando y en cualquier momento esto va a explotar. y hay muchas cosas que están sucediendo a la misma vez. El condado está empujando para más casas, para más affordable housing. El condado está incentivando, sin embargo, a los desarrollantes por hacer affordable housing. So, esto es un problema que honestamente viene ya por parte del condado también, que están aprobando todo esto. Hay demasiadas cosas que están, that's going wrong with this, que está demasiado mal con todo lo que está sucediendo en estos momentos. Me imagino que tú debes tener algunas preguntas.
Aquí un comentario en los seguidores, dice Joel, para eso se hacen population ground analysis y road load calculation. Si lo aprueban es por algo. Solo es tu opinión. Bueno, yo soy vecino de aquí de los Redlands y Joel, esto no siempre es ciencia exacta. Homestead y los Redlands y Florida City y todo es una ciudad que está completamente desbalanceada en cuanto a residencial y comercio. Aquí la gente trabaja en el norte de Miami y por eso es el atasco que hay en el expressway. A las 5 de la tarde eso no se mueve, porque gente que vive aquí va a trabajar a los guarejados que están en Hialeah y en el norte.
Crown Avenue no se mueve tampoco.
En vez de seguir trayendo más condominios de apartamentico, que han creado cerca de la US One miles de apartamenticos y a veces no hay ni un restaurante, no hay una buena escuela, no hay. Eso pasa en Lehigh también. Se han mudado muchísimas personas, yo construí allá y ahora es que están los negocios yendo para allá, pero sí, hay momentos y hay décadas en la historia en la que está completamente desbalanceada una situación con otra. Entonces, en vez de crear más infraestructura para los residentes que ya viven en ese lugar, aquí lo que están trayendo es cada vez más enormes proyectos de construcción de townhousitos. Y entonces, ¿qué están haciendo? Le están comprando las farms de fresa, de habichuela, de mangos, de mameyes. O sea, lo que fue toda la vida Homestead, el pulmón verde del condado. Aquí cada vez hay menos agricultura. Aquí cada vez se producen menos vegetales, menos frutas, menos de todo. Y todos esos terrenos están siendo arrasados. Es una deforestación, es una depredación completamente. Y es en todas las esquinas que antes eran bosquecitos, plantaciones, todo es townhouse. Eso definitivamente no está equilibrado, no está perfectamente bien pensado, lo que sí está es bien pagado.
Te voy a mencionar algo, ahora que mencionaste.
Apoyando campañas como la de Levin Cava, que las constructoras fueron sus principales donantes, y firma y desarrolla. Y obviamente una vecindad tranquila como esta, que siempre ha sido un estilo de vida distinto. La gente compraba carísimo aquí porque venía huyendo del no tener un espacio para que tus hijos puedan correr, para que todo. Entonces ahora te llenan todo esto, me estafaron, literalmente.
Ya, no, y te quiero añadir a lo que estás diciendo, porque este mismo desarrollante con el que estoy yo dileando, con el cual estamos directamente tratando de sobrepasar aquí, que se llama Bluenest, estas personas, para la persona que dijo que si lo están aprobando es porque se puede, no. Este proyecto que está en nuestro vecindario ha sido declinado en varias ocasiones, en diferentes departamentos, pero así todo, eventualmente lo están aprobando. ¿Por qué? Por presión interior que están poniendo en condado a los planners. No, esa parte de verdad que no sé cómo lo están haciendo, pero sí, poco a poco han ido aprobando secciones de este proyecto después de 4 y 5 veces que lo han desaprobado. ¿Tú ves? Son cosas que, si especialmente en el vecindario de nosotros, no aguanta 2,000 personas adicionales. Va a inundar las calles interiores del vecindario. ¿Tú ves? No solamente eso, pero en el vecindario de nosotros, como en muchos vecindarios de South Dade, las calles nuestras, muchos de nuestros vecinos, las calles van hacia el centro, la propiedad va hacia el centro de la calle. Entonces, en muchos casos, en vez de tener una calle de 2 líneas, es una sola calle. Porque los vecinos...
En Redland, la mayoría de las calles son de una sola línea. De
una sola línea. Pero ¿sabes lo que sucede? Que si esto pasa, ya los vecinos están en peligro de perder miles de pies cuadrados de su propiedad. So, tú te compras una casa, una propiedad con X cantidad de pies cuadrados de lote, y ahora por culpa de Bluenest, tú tienes que sacrificar más 6,000, 7,000 pies cuadrados de parte de tu lote para que ellos puedan abrir camino a una comunidad que no está añadiendo valor a tu comunidad ni añadiendo valor a tu casa. Le está quitando valor. No solamente eso, la casa, una vez que tú le quites esos pies cuadrados, ya se convierte en lo que es un non-confirming property, que ya no está, quiere decir, ya no está a código, porque le quitaste todos esos pies cuadrados. Ya lo que es el setback, ya tu casa está fuera de código. So, si viene un huracán, si algo sucede, tú tienes que poner tu casa a código y eso te va a costar dinero. ¿Y quién va a pagar eso? Tú.
Bueno, y la mayoría de los lotes aquí son de 1.15 acres. Si tú cedes todo ese terreno para esa inversión pública, bueno, lo que sucede es que probablemente no te quiten hasta la agricultural, porque tienes que tener un tamaño y una cantidad sembrada, etcétera. La gran pregunta para cerrar este tema es, ¿qué podemos hacer? Todo el mundo está preguntando, varias gente en el chat. Bueno, entonces, esa es la situación. Están abusando de los desarrollos, deforestando y acabando aquí en el pulmón verde. Ok, ¿qué podemos hacer?
Ok, julio 17 va a haber una reunión. Puede ser que cambie. Si no cambia, va a tomar lugar en julio 17 en el Downtown Miami a las 9 de la mañana. Julio 17 está la reunión definitiva que va a definir qué va a suceder en este vecindario y en otro vecindario al lado de nosotros. Este vecindario está en la aplicación como Bluenest and Naranja, o si no, conocido también como María del Pilar. María del Pilar es la aplicante, pero el desarrollante es Bluenest en Naranja. A las 9 de la mañana va a tomar lugar en el Downtown Miami. Por favor, vengan, apóyenos, hablen su voz, que no están de acuerdo con esto. También tenemos una petición en la web, en change.org. Se llama Save the Redland. Ahí están nuestros puntos, muchos puntos válidos nuestros y argumentos por qué no estamos de acuerdo con este plan. Regálanos una firmita, puedes poner tu comentario. Una vez que ustedes firmen la petición, van a estar recibiendo actualizaciones de qué es lo que está sucediendo con esta campaña y con este desarrollante. Pero sí, en estos momentos, en comparación con hace 20 años atrás, hemos perdido muchas áreas verdes. Hoy en día, aquí en lo que es el sur de la Florida, South Dade, lo que queda son unos 40,000 acres. Eso no es nada, caballero. En lo que es South Dade, 40,000 acres agrícolas no es nada. Y así todos somos el respaldo agrícola de todo lo que es el sur de la Florida, de todo lo que es la Florida, una gran parte de aquí del sur de la Florida, porque no hay ninguna otra área agrícola como South Dade y hace falta poder proteger esto. Si no, nos vamos a ver comprando cosas de otros países, otros
Tomates
estados.
en China.
¿Cómo?
Vamos a vernos comprando tomates en China.
Exactamente. Y
bueno,
sabe Dios, sabe Dios lo que deben tener los tomates adentro.
¿Con qué regalo nos los mandan?
Exactamente.
Bueno, yo te agradezco como vecino.
Igual a ti, Eliezer.
Te felicito porque sé que eres un incansable luchador por preservar el espíritu original de los Redlands. Y eso, por supuesto, yo como propietario aquí también lo aprecio. Te pediría que en el chat pongas el link al chain.org, la fecha, los datos. Hay personas pendientes mirando ahora y pásanos después un flyer, un póster si lo tienes para movernos en las redes sociales y ojalá que podamos hacer mucho más volumen, más músculo y que no nos impongan a los vecinos de aquí la devaluación, la deforestación, la depredación y la depauperación completa de lo que ha sido toda la vida un vecindario productivo, verde, tranquilo y el escape oxigenado de la algarabía de la ciudad. Toda Central Florida está por construir, pero todo el mundo quiere construir aquí. Tú coges la 8, tú coges la 46, tú coges la 75 por ir para allá y hay millones de acres que no hay nada. Pero todo lo quieren construir en el mismo lugar y en el mismo condado, aunque tengamos concreto arriba de la cabeza. Es algo realmente que debemos evitar. Gracias, maestro.
No, gracias a ti, Eliezer. De veras.
Bueno, ahí vamos.
Concerns about the Everglades? Yeah, so we have expressed our concerns about this location for any kind of development. It is an area that we have invested as a nation, billions of dollars for protecting our natural environment, our water supply. It's an area that is under federal oversight, part of our restoration plans for the Everglades. And we've asked for a very thorough review of what would be the impacts on our environment. We have not heard a response to that. The state has exercised the executive powers that the governor has exerted through his executive order, and so they have moved forward. Well, we're reviewing everything from a legal perspective, but we do know that there are executive authority from the state, and we are also checking with the Federal Aviation Administration because it is an active airport, and we do have responsibilities there, and we need to get clarification about our role.